I kind of like teaching the bad students and the bad classes. To an extent. I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to share a fun story because the bad ones always have fun stories from the classroom. I'm going to share with you a story and why I like teaching the bad students in this video. Let's go. Hey there, English teachers. Jesse here from Sweed Academy, and I want to help you in the classroom. And we all have these students. We all have difficult students, difficult classes, and just teenagers, especially if you're teaching teenagers. Kids are one story. Teenagers are a completely different world. I kind of like it. I kind of like the challenge of teaching teenagers and difficult teenagers. Why do I like them, do you ask? Good question. I like them because these are the ones that have the stories, right? And I don't mean their stories of their past and then we can change their lives, which there are those moments, absolutely. And we should always be looking to find those moments or make those moments. But those moments don't come as often as we'd like, right? They just don't. But I mean stories to tell other people in the future, right? I mean, I've never been sitting around chatting with friends and telling stories about how Alejandra did her homework perfectly like always, right? But I have told the story about this girl, Paula. She was super cool girl in the academy. I had an academy class of maybe 7 students, 6 or 7 students, and she was the cool girl who would go out smoking. I'd smell smoke on her before class, and like 13 years old. She wouldn't come a lot of the time, or if she did, she didn't want to be there. Her parents made her come. You know the story. You know the type, right? And, you know, I always like to give these kinds of students more responsibility. That's a tip for you. I try to give these students more responsibility to see what they can do and to see how they handle it, right? So I had papers I had to get photocopied, and I asked her, I was like, Paula, can you go make 6 copies of this paper? She's like, okay. She went out. It was just a small academy. The photocopy machine was maybe, I don't know, 3 meters down the hallway, 3 classrooms down the hallway, and that would be more than 3 meters. Anyway, down a small hallway, and the photocopy machine was right there. So I was just kind of like chilling, spending some time chatting with the students, waiting for Paula to come back. Well, a minute goes by, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I'm like, man, is there a line at the photocopy machine? We're talking a little bit longer with the students. And then one of the students asked, teacher, where's Paula? I'm like, I don't know. I hope she didn't leave. So I go out of the classroom and I go to the photocopy machine. She's not there. And I go at the end of the hallway. We had a kitchen in there with like a sofa and chairs, and we had cake every Wednesday. We called it Cake Wednesday. And there she was talking with her best friend, which was also the director, the owner of the academy. And they were sitting in there in the kitchen eating. She was sitting on the sofa with her foot up on a chair, with her leg bent, just chilling like this, eating cake, talking to our friend. I poked my head in the door and I said, Paula, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, sorry. Like, did you make the copies? She's like, no, nobody was here. What? Nobody was here. I wasn't laughing at the time, mind you. So I was like, go back in the classroom. And then I made the copies. And then I go back in the classroom and ask her what happened. And by this time, I was pretty upset, right? I mean, as you'd expect. And I ask her, And she gives me this like dismissive, like, yeah, sorry. I hate fake apologies like that. And I say, no, Paula, what was that? What were you thinking? She's like, perdón, lo siento. Like telling me, I'm sorry, but in her language, in Spanish, like, Paula, no, what were you doing? She's like, lo siento, sorry. And she started saying, and then other students who were trying to help her, like, no, Paula, in English, say sorry. And I was like, no, that's not what I want. What were you doing? What were you thinking? I really wanted to know what she was thinking, but she was, acting, she was wrong, right? So she was acting like she was wrong. And so like, what were you doing? And other students were trying to help her more. Say, sorry, it won't happen again. It's like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. I want you to tell me what you were thinking. I want you to tell me what you were doing. And she was lost by that time. She felt bad. And I was starting to lose my temper more and more until I just continued and we went on with the exercise. And I was actually fuming at the time. Fuming, for all of you non-native speakers, means I was really angry and really upset, right? So, and I ended up raising my voice a little bit. And after the lesson, she left, and some other students, the good students, were like, teacher, what was the matter today? And I told them, I know that stuff, sorry, it won't happen again, works with other teachers because they're just so stressed, or they don't care, or they deal with this every day. But I care. I want her to tell me what happened. I want her to think about what she's doing. Like, okay. So I go home. This was on a Wednesday, and we met Mondays and Wednesdays. So I had the whole weekend to think about it, and I felt bad. I lost my temper, and I yelled and probably embarrassed her a lot. So, and I consider that a loss. I look at my decisions in life in a win and loss column, right? Wins and losses. Was this a good decision? It's a win. Was it a bad decision? It was a loss, right? And this was a loss. I lost my temper and yelled. Come Monday, she comes in and, it's normal, right? Are you going to really carry it with you if your teacher yells at you from Wednesday to Monday? And so she comes in and, we have class normally, and I have them do some book exercise. And I like to go around and help students one by one in their book exercise. And I went down directly to Paula, and I kneel down beside her and I say, hey, I'm sorry for yelling at you last week. I shouldn't have done that. And it was a heartfelt apology. It was a sincere apology, and she could feel that. And she stopped and looked up and looked right at me. And she said, that's okay. That's okay. It was a real moment, right? And then I turned that loss into a win, right? I brought it from the loss column over into the win column. And it felt good because I made it right with her. And after that, every time I had something to be photocopied, I gave it to Paula and to go out and get them photocopied. And I'd always tell her, don't forget to come back. And other students started laughing and then started saying the same thing. And it turned out to be a fun experience, a nice, ending to the story that could have ended a different way. And I just wanted to share that with you to say, we have stories. The bad ones give us the stories, right? Like how Mario put gum underneath his table, and then I found it. I knew it was Mario because that was a seat, and he's the only one who's going to do that, and made him clean it off. And that's another story for another day. But these are the ones with stories. What about you? Share your story in the comments below. I know if you're a teacher, you have a fun story that drove you absolutely crazy when it was happening. But after the fact, it's kind of fun and it puts a smile on your face, doesn't it? Anyway, so thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to my story. write your story down below and let me know. Let us all know. Share your stories. And we'll be happy to hear them and comment with our LOLs. But if this is your first time here, thank you for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button and the bell if you liked it so you can be notified next time we have a lesson or a story. On Mondays, I'm uploading lessons. So creative kind of lessons that I do in the classroom. So if you're running short of ideas, then go back in my video archive. I have some song lessons, some speaking lessons, some listening lessons to do, and writing. And I upload new videos every Monday. On Fridays, I'm telling stories like this one or giving just teacher tips from my experience. Keep teaching and keep learning. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.